Right, we're on now. We've set up the crankshaft as best we can. This crankshaft has got issues. Whoever ground it before, the strokes are not 100%, so we're trying to bring it back as close as possible to where it was originally. So I've set the head heights on the machine, so that'll give me the stroke. So I've zeroed that in. Okay, so we come in there. Dial gauge is on 0. Okay, we come to this side. Zero the dial gauge in. Okay, so that is lovely. Double check, always double check, because you've only got one chance here. Right, zeroed. The other way. So now we've set up the journal. It's as close as we can get it there. Okay, with the wear and whatever that's going on it. But now, all the other ones, you see there I've marked them, those ones will run at that stroke. Whereas if I come to this one, number 1, this crankshaft's been giving me a headache. So I'm still on 0 there, but you see what's happening. We high there, and we're going low there. And the problem is we've only got about 5 thou, 2.5 thou side to come off, so it can give us a headache. So we'll see. So what will happen is, in theory, we should grind these 2 journals at the same time, but we're not going to do that. We're going to grind 5 of them, which are in line. So what we'll do is, after that, we are now on 0, which is on here. We're on 0. Okay. Then we're going to move it over to the next one we'll do is 120 degrees and then 240 degrees to get the stroke in. Okay. So now we'll lock that there. We're going to dress the stone with a diamond. I've already set the diamond. So we measured the radius gauge, and we're getting about a 1.5 millimeter radius. So I've set that on here. There's a scale in there which will set the diamond point to that 1.5 millimeter radius. So first of all, we're going to grind the face. We need to do the face first. So to do that, we need to clear up a bit. Remove that, put him here. Otherwise, right, we're going to fire her up. So basically what I've done is I've set the stone with cigarette paper. Set the diamond to the stone with the cigarette paper, because this paper is about 2.5 hundredths, about a thou thick. So we get close. So that's what we use it for. We don't smoke that. So then, so every time you press the button, it moves the wheel in under hydraulic pressure 0.0005 of a millimeter. So she's practically 1/2 hundredth that it moves in. Okay, now I'm coming in. Don't you hear it touch? Okay, you can see the line there. We don't want to boil we don't want to cook the stone, the diamond. Come in a little bit. And every time we grind a crank, we redress the stone. Don't have the fallacy of keep grinding all day. Each crankshaft gets a new face. Otherwise you're cutting corners and you're not going to get a proper setup. Right, so now okay, you see there, we've got a line there, which is no good. If you've got that line, you see that line on the wheel? It's not a good plan there. Right, so we'll come back in. And this thing will stop bang on where it's supposed, where you left it, in theory. We're going to look for that line to go away, which is the brilliant. That's looking clean now. So we'll just take a 100th off. Beautiful. Now we'll set our 0 in. That'll lock us onto 0. You can come back a little bit. Okay. Gently, gently, don't bang it. Right, now keep it clean. You don't want any grinding paste on, like the last owners. That's why the machine was worn out. We need to lower you. This is a steady rest, by the way, we're putting on. I'm trying to get the center it. That'll work. The nibble. Okay, we can come a little bit. Let's have a peep. As they say, clearance is clearance. Okay. Now, got the steady rest on. Need another one of those. Okay, we need a narrow one. see, where are we? Alright, take it off, wind it back a bit. Okay, now need a bit more space there. Say close. Say clearance is clearance. Now, I'm going to try and get the Arnold gauge hooked up. You need to come down a little bit. Once you get the Arnold gauge rigged up, once you've done your first one, it becomes a very simple project to grind it. Okay, we'll come up a bit. Might work. Clip in. Right, we've set up our Arnold gauge. Now we've got this crank, we've balanced the weight so we're not getting any flexing. Make sure everybody's happy. Okay, now we're coming in. The setup is the one that takes all the time to get it right. You gotta be very careful, otherwise you can burn the crank. And this is about my 6 or 7 crankshaft that I've ever ground in my life. So I'm still learning all the tricks from the book, from the workshop manual, teaching me how to do it. Trying to find it on YouTube, everybody just shows the crankshaft getting ground, but they don't show the setup and the suffering of setting it up. So maybe this one might help somebody. Coming in. Thank you. And once you get to your size, you only plunge grind with these machines. So you will plunge in, the last traverse across will be 100 to 200, 2,500. That's the only amount that you will traverse across. They're not designed for that. They've got to come straight in to size, straight in to size. So the journal is basically like now this stone. When we finish grinding the big ends, I'm going to put a wider stone to do the main. Otherwise we'll have issues. So you've got to have, we've got 3 stones basically that you can chop and change depending on the width of the journal. We're coming in now. Should be getting there, but go gently, gently. Come in there, let me come inside it. Wrong way. Close. I think we're getting close. Let's see. Now turn the water off and see how she's taking a lick, and now it's shining there now. So what we'll do now, remove the Arnold gauge, set the machine to 0. drag it off a bit. Right, so we need to grind this journal to 52.25. So we got about 1500ths to come out. Okay. You can see how it's cleaning the radius, getting a nice radius in there, and that'll bring it back to zero. Now, let's see where we are. We get in there, gently. 1500. Now, let's start the steady there. Okay. Now that's going down. Let it spark out. And now, back it off. Back it off some more. Oh, touching on this. Okay, we need to change the nozzle. So we took a 500ths off, and we'll check it again. And let's go across. Now I can come in with the steadies, but now these steadies you can't just wind them in because you'll bend the crankshaft, you know, because it's on a thread. So it's basically just touch down, and then it will hold itself. see that little line there that's showing up? That is basically the steady rubbing. That'll come off with a bit of Scotch-Brite or whatever, and the time's done. Coming into the radius. Alright, so 0, back off. Okay. Right, so we parallel. There's no taper cutting there. Bang on. Right. Till the next time.